So as you guys are aware, Froskirin has completely faded into complete irrelevance, right? She has decided and now she wants to come out and accuse G4TV of some bad behavior. Now, the funny thing is, I find this interesting and interesting timing because anytime someone like Frosk goes into irrelevancy, what she wants to try to do is not only A, try to make her name more relevant, but B, if she's getting a lot of hate, she wants to pivot that hate over to someone else because she doesn't want that to go to her. Now, obviously, Frosk has gotten a lot of hate ever since her whole sexism in gaming rant on G4TV that destroyed the network with Adam Sessler, but now apparently she says that the sexism in gaming rant was inspired by what she experienced at G4TV itself. So I find that to be very interesting because these are the same people who cheered Frosk on when she was doing this whole rant, and now she's turning her back on them and attacking them and saying they're the reason why she did this rant in the first place. It's absolutely insane. So let's get into the article, guys. This one comes to us from good old Bounding Into Comics. But before we do, guys, just a quick announcement. I'm going to be live streaming Hogwarts Legacy tomorrow. Today, this video releases on Monday. I'm going to be live streaming on Tuesday. Originally, I wanted to do 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but it looks like I can't even preload the game until 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on PC. So we're going to have to probably schedule it for 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to announce it on my community tab, so look forward to that. So the article says, former X-Play host Frosk says infamous sexism in gaming rant, partly inspired by her experiences at G4TV, and she says, I cannot believe more stuff hasn't come out. So obviously what she's trying to allude to is that G4TV was a very sexist place, that G4TV has a lot of skeletons in his closet, and don't get me wrong, I wouldn't be surprised if that wasn't the case, but I just find it hilarious that this is the same person who wanted to prop up G4TV as the messiah in gaming, and now that she is basically having her back against the wall, she now has to accuse G4TV of the same thing that she was accusing the gamers who were watching G4TV of. I find this completely ironic, and it's obviously on purpose, all right? Let's just be real. This whole thing is on purpose. You can't believe a single word that Frosk ever says because she's a manipulator, 100%. So it says, in the aftermath of Comcast shuttering of their short-lived attempt to revive G4, while her former co-host has taken to throwing bizarre and childish tantrums on social media, with basically referring to Adam Sessler, Indiana Frost Black has chosen to offer insight into the event that heralded its eventual downfall, her now infamous sexism in gaming rant. The recently retired video game personality opened up about the circumstances which prompted her impassioned explosion in an exclusive interview held with independent journalist Peter Pishk for his newly launched interview podcast, Culture Escape. Disclosure, Pishk has been working in relationship with Bounding Into Comics and is considered a friend by this article's author. Okay, I guess you needed to disclaim that for whatever reason. Following a discussion of G4's strategic failings, Pishk turned their conversation to the topic of her rant, directly asking his guest, what was happening to Frost that you were in that position where you felt like this needed to be said? Now, again, I find it interesting that she is trying to pivot this to now being G4's fault, or at least partially G4's fault. I really do believe that Frost is just incapable of admitting when she's wrong. It's very typical behavior of a narcissist, and she has all the defining characteristics of a narcissist. She cannot admit when she was wrong. It's beyond her ability to do so. So instead of admitting she was wrong, she is now trying to garner sympathy because, like I say all the time, these women are in the business of sympathy farming. This is what they do because it is enable them to make a lot of money from it. It's enable them to get jobs from it, to get opportunities from it. So they do this sympathy farm because the more sympathy that they can farm from people, the more likelihood they're going to be successful. And Frosk is no different. It says, in turn, Frost revealed that the first embers of her rant were sparked by her experiences trying to pay attention to everything that was happening online around G4 during a period fairly early on into its announcement. Over the months leading up to it, everywhere I looked, if it was on YouTube or Reddit or Twitch, every platform, people were just talking about how much they used to masturbate to Morgan Webb, she explained. I was like, this is so strange that on social media, people are just making all these crude, not even just jokes, but just really crude statements. What is happening where we've all missed the barrier to the decision making to think something to type it out, to hit enter and send? Shifting her attentions to the X-Play segment, in which her anger eventually boiled over, Frost detailed how it was supposed to be like a New Year's gripes kind of a thing. So we'd be like, this thing really annoyed me in the new year. Let's start fresh and do a New Year's rant, she told Pishk. Originally, it was supposed to talk about Red Dead Redemption 2's online. I was going to blast Rockstar, and this was even before they decided to just leave the games online to die. So it seems like this whole segment was planned to some sort of a degree. Maybe it wasn't supposed to go down the way that it did, but they at least had an idea that they were going to kind of make a roasting session, I guess you can call it, or a blasting session where they were going to blast certain topics, and Red Dead was going to be one of them, but then it just somehow deviated into a sexism in gaming rant, which I think is just weird. But honestly, I don't buy the whole deviation story, to be real with you. I think she fully intended to use her new platform to push whatever message she wanted to push, and she was feeling some sort of way about the fact that that people saw her as not as an attractive of a host as the previous one, Morgan Webb. She definitely felt some sort of way. You can tell Frosk was not happy with that, and she wanted to take her anger out on the crowd while she had all the spotlight on her. So I don't necessarily buy the deviation story, but whatever, that's what she's saying. It says, however, after doing rehearsals where the on-screen team want to keep our rants secretive so we don't record them or do them, everyone took a lunch break, whereas Frosk's rant truly began to take form. And I go to lunch, and I'm sitting with the network producer Emily Rose, director Gabrielle Thomas, and co-executive producer Megan Lutz, and I don't remember why it was brought up, but the discussion at the table really just kind of turned into our different experiences as women in the industry, and also in that specific studio of having really sexist and gross experiences. She recalled, I was like, why is that so prevalent in this industry? Again, I highly doubt she experienced any sort of sexism, any sort of like somebody hitting on her for unbeknownst reasons. I highly doubt that. This woman wants to be part of the conversation when she is just not part of the conversation. And the fact of the matter is, you have three women who are around a lunch table together, and instead of talking about anything joyous in their lives, they want to talk about sexism. They want to talk about how terrible it is to work in the studio that they're working in, and how they've experienced so much sexism. I just don't buy this story. I don't buy. I know women are miserable. A lot of women are miserable, and they just sit there and they want to complain. But if you really want to like make me believe that three women, I guess it could be true. It could be true. They do work at G4TV, so it could be true. But for three women to sit there and complain about sexism in the same place that they're working, just happenstance, right before your sexism and gaming rant, it just seems awfully convenient to me. It says, like, it's so bizarre, Frosk opined on the matter. I've worked in 4 different Riot offices, and Riot obviously went through the massive lawsuit about gender discrimination, but just like that crap that I've seen, working 10 years in esports, I thought that going into mainstream broadcasting would make it better. But while she thought esports was like this wild, wild west where you don't have a lot of people with white-collar business experience, and that it was going to get better going into G4, these issues reportedly only got so much worse going into G4. Specifically in that studio, she added, I cannot believe more stuff hasn't come out. Frost next explained how after that lunch, she returned to the studio and decided to change the topic of her rant, shifting it from Rockstar's multiplayer failings to her aggrieved frustrations with her and her co-workers' personally sexist experiences. Retracing the chain of events, she stated, so I hash out the rant, I give it to X-Play showrunner Michael Leffler and Megan, and they approve it. And they're like, yeah, this is great, we're gonna put it in the teleprompter. And then I read it, and that's what went out. So again, they had all of this planned, okay? She got the green light, which is exactly why G4TV died, okay? They saw this whole sexism and gaming rant before it actually went down, and they said, yes, let's greenlight this. This is exactly what we want to give to our viewers. They said this. So the whole idea that the sexism and gaming rant was a surprise and that they were kind of taken aback by it, that's nonsense. That's nonsense. They knew exactly what was going to happen to the point where they put it on a teleprompter. So the failure of G4TV is their own demise. They knew exactly what was going to go down, and they decided to greenlight it. They doubled down, tripled down, and look where they're at now. They're all out of jobs, trying to find jobs elsewhere, to the point where Frosk even retired, quote unquote, from the gaming scene because nobody wants to even give her a job. Who would want to give her a job at this point within the gaming scene? I don't see anybody that would want to do it. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy it. And if you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.